You got two.
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.
Niagara College ball.
Don't forget your brooms.
You got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one. You got two.
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.
Curling? Game?
Good game.
Game?
Good game. Good game.
Good curling. I know. Good curling. Good curling. I'm a real dork. Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Theirs was 16 to like the.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the, like, I think the paths that we haven't yet, everything else we're getting in mid-15. Let's have a go on, team. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to St. Catharines, Ontario, home of this year's Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. My name is Brian Chick. I'm here with Jane Rizzo, and we've got a championship pool matchup tonight between Manitoba's Ryan Wiebe and Newfoundland and Labrador's Trent Skanes out of the Remax St. John's Curling Club. How are you doing tonight, Jane?
I'm great. We've had a great week. I've enjoyed seeing all the games, as many as I can see, watching all the teams, meeting some of the teams, and they've been pretty excited to be here.
It's been a great event so far. This is draw 15. There are a couple more to come tomorrow, and that will dictate who ends up in the top 4 of the championship pool, and thus who will play for semifinals and finals when it comes to Saturday's last day of action. For this Newfoundland and Labrador team, there's not much hope left that they will be in that top 4. They've already lost 4 games, and a lot of miracles would have to happen to bring them back into the standings. Manitoba, meanwhile, very much in it. They're at 6-1. Another win or two in the next 3 games would certainly put them into that top 4. So they've got something to play for, but Newfoundland and Labrador probably looking to play spoiler tonight.
Absolutely. And I think no matter what game you're playing for, you really want to win.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who goes out there just for fun. I mean, it is fun, but
it's a lot of fun.
If you're on the ice, you want to win.
You want to win.
Nice center guard there from Jennifer Clark-Ruier. Longtime 5th player for Jennifer Jones at multiple Scotties. And a skip in her own right.
Yep.
And the come around.
Line's good. Looks a little light.
Lead Sarah McNeil-Lambswood. This Winnipeg team, there's the Manitoba team playing out of the Fort Rouge Club in Winnipeg.
Okay.
Good.
Now, would they have been together quite a while, this team? Or is this team, would they have been last year at mixed?
They might have played. A lot of these mixed teams are, I don't want to disrespect the process, but more like a second thought. A lot of these teams will have, they'll have a men's team that is their #1 priority, and a women's team, and usually towards the end of the season when mixed playdowns start, they'll grab a couple of friends and see if they can make a run to a provincial or maybe a national. So some people are perennial mixed players, and some people just kind of throw a team together. I'm not sure the history of this Manitoba team.
Yeah.
So with their buried rock on the forefoot, Newfoundland Labrador opting for the corner guard, which says they like their setup in the middle of the house, so they're not going to try to mess with it.
I always get 4-0-0.
For sure. I noticed a lot in the games that I watched this week. There weren't a lot of guards I saw go up. There was a lot of play towards the middle, which I was surprised.
Yeah, the thing with that center guard is that a lot of people throw it, not very many people use it. And when the opponent starts playing towards the middle and they get that guard up and they start going around it,
Just a rocket.
it is it's hard to ignore for too much longer. So you throw that corner, and sometimes it just gets forgotten out there.
Yeah. No, me neither.
Scott Eaton throwing second stones for Newfoundland and Labrador.
Stay with it. Top 8.
Trying to make use of that corner guard, making a liar out of me. That actually makes me happy.
Well, it's good to utilize it. A lot of times in games, even in club play, we try and utilize that corner guard if we can. If we can get a corner guard up.
A little bit light, slight over curl, and a bit of junk piling up already. Lefty Ty DeLello.
Definitely less.
Line's good.
Definitely less.
Line's good.
Line only.
Yep.
Coming down.
Hard line.
I think he's trying to split this top 12 rock, just kind of punch it behind the guard and maybe open it up. I don't think it has the weight though.
That one came down a ton.
Okay.
Brian, for those people that see the delivery where you see a different broom, where you see the players that have their brooms or sweeping brooms, and when they deliver they have the old corn broom. Why do you think they use that? What is the purpose of them using the corn broom as opposed to the new brooms, the lighter brooms that we're using now?
There's a couple factors to it. I think the style of the slide, which commonly referred to as the Manitoba tuck, was always traditionally done with a corn broom. You can do it with one of the more modern brooms, but it just always you found an old corn broom in somebody's basement and you threw a bunch of duct tape on it, and that became your sliding device. So I think tradition has something to do with it.
Yeah.
And I'd almost argue that's the bigger factor. You can do that slide with any broom if you have maybe a little sliding bar on the handle. But a lot of the Manitoba tuck people will actually get a piece of stainless steel, a piece they call the Cobra. It's a little stainless steel attachment you put on the sliding broom to actually make it slide even better. Shayla Hayward throwing third for Manitoba.
Might be a
Line's
little
great.
hot.
Haven't had a lot of made shots since the first three.
No, that's for sure.
Okay, not bad.
Little chip off the top 12 stone. Not bad, because now there's actually a couple of ways to get at that yellow.
Lined up now.
You can run green, green, green straight back, or you can try to angle this that last shooter in, but I don't think it's going to be there very long. Brooke Goslin's going to try to get a bit of green moving.
Whoa, Sarah, you gotta go.
They're trying to make it curl. They're going to get one.
Pretty good. Good spot.
Hit it a little too thick to get that second kicked out.
What I find interesting with our club ice, you see a lot in big Grand Slams and Briar, the Scotties, where you see these teams that they're trying to get it to curl. What does that mean when you're trying to get it to curl? Especially on, I know the ice is a little different in a curling rink as opposed to some of the big spiels. I think they try and keep it as close as they can now, but the actual mechanics involved in that, trying to get it to curl.
The simplest explanation is that your push stroke is your more effective sweeping stroke. So if it's hard to lean on something and pull it back towards you at the same time. So when whoever's doing the pushing is the more effective sweeper, and if you believe in the scratch theory, which we can talk about sweeping theory for a long time, but whoever's doing the pushing is trying to steer the rock in that direction. So when they're trying to make it curl, they've got the person on the high side of the rock trying to push it with the curl, trying to influence it a little further along that line.
And it can be very effective.
It can be very effective. It requires a lot of pressure on that brush head, especially with these competition yellow brush heads. It's easier to do with the older heads that had more abrasive fabric, but it can be done with these competition heads, but you need to have a lot of weight on the broom. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that most club curlers fit into that category.
No, I don't think we do either.
I see a lot of club curlers trying to make it happen, but I don't think they're probably being counterproductive, because they're going back to the typical definition of sweeping, which is about the friction that you're creating.
Okay, Brooke.
So now in club play, where we have two sweepers, in competition that we're seeing, you see mostly one sweeper. Is that the reason why?
That's what they're trying to do, but again, I don't think your average club sweeper is not putting enough weight on the broom to make the scratch difference, so you might as well have both sweepers going.
Absolutely.
Nose tap, hair high.
I can say
Or you're
this.
just Swiffering.
Somewhere behind the
You're
greens.
polishing.
You're polishing.
Pretty good here, eh?
For sure.
I've spent a lot of time as a club manager doing a lot of club lessons, and no matter how, maybe a handful of people at each club are that effective, but I'd say the vast majority aren't going to carve it like you see on TV.
No.
Easy.
Whoa.
Whoa, clean.
No.
Clean it.
Whoa.
We made this comment yesterday too, that in a mixed game, usually it's the bigger, heavier man who will take over the carving, and we just saw it there with the Manitoba team. Ty DeLello switched from one side to the other because he's going to put more weight on the broom than the Jennifer, and thus be a more effective sweeper to make it curl.
Yes, I saw that. You just said, let me have it.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to take it in.
Right?
Yeah.
So the higher we can be, the more it clanks off out in the open.
Okay.
I mean, if it's there, it's still sharp for him.
Okay.
You like that? I mean,
Yep.
I think that's the only shot we have, really.
Yep.
Might be minimum. We might be able to give a bit more ice.
So yellow sitting one already,
Yeah,
trying to
everything's
sink
coming in
another
pretty
one
good.
in
Yeah.
behind that pile of
A
green.
little more. A lot of shots been thrown on this spot.
There's certainly enough curl to
Yeah.
get there the way this ice has been working all week. The curlers have been
I like 20.
thrilled with it. Great speed, lots of curl.
There is ideal.
Haven't heard a single complaint about it, which is rare over the course of an entire event.
Exactly. And when he was referring to there's been a lot of rocks over this ice, what does that refer to when you hear that?
Early in the game, it takes a few rocks up and down each path to kind of break that into up to speed, and he's
But not
commenting
much.
that we've played a few up this line already, so he
you gotta
expects
go on
this
that, guys.
rock to be
I think you got to go.
riding as smoothly as it's going to get.
Line's
It's already
good.
up to
Line's
speed
good.
because
Line's
of the
good.
rocks that have already been down that path.
Line's good.
Whoa!
And that's important to know with your sweepers.
Sarah?
So when they
Sarah?
judge the rock, they know.
Sarah, whatever you can.
Could be pretty good. They're trying to curl it over with that late finish.
Nice.
He's mostly buried. He's on the button. That's one that
15-0.
is pretty good, but may not be good enough.
Try to get it lost,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the chase
okay.
is there all day. Just tap it back in here.
yeah, we're just like freezing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Edge.
Yep.
Well, I think freezing might be the option since he's doesn't have hammer, so I think coming down would be
Yeah.
a good
Just
option
freezing
for
it.
him.
Once you're
Yeah, I
by,
think the perfect shot is just to bump it 6 inches, sit shot, and have that yellow stick around behind you as backing.
that was a 15-4.
The reason I was just saying that it might not be good enough for Trent Skanes there is that it probably slid just a hair deeper than he would have liked. If that rock's on the top 4, then this is a very different shot.
Absolutely.
But just trying to move it a few inches, that's very makeable for Ryan Wiebe.
Line's good.
Whoa.
Clean.
Line's good.
Room.
Line's great. Line's good.
Line's
Nailed it.
great.
Line's good.
Still room.
Yep.
Still
Whoa.
room.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yep.
Whoa. Yep.
Yeah, you gotta be here. Yep.
Yep.
Hard. Right to it. Really nice, Ryan. Good.
Okay. Good shot.
Doesn't quite get shot out of it, but it's still a pretty good result.
Yeah.
Newfoundland Labrador now being forced to draw a piece of the button. They can maybe bounce off their yellow a little bit. Can't move it too far.
That was probably what, a 15.
It was 15.
If
Like dead on her own.
Manitoba had thrown
Little chips
another
too,
foot
so-
of weight there, maybe 2 feet of weight, it would have been absolutely perfect, but
Okay. Great. I actually
not
thought
quite.
it had,
So
like, no
a
give to it.
precision draw
It's still
coming
got
up for
there.
Trent Skanes.
But I did notice
Just keen.
watching a lot of
Another
games
one
too
in
how
there,
much
so-
curl there is in the ice, which is I'm sure making them very happy.
Yeah, curlers love it when there's a lot of curl. It means that all the shots are there. You can play around with different weights, and even your takeouts curl a little bit. So if you put the broom in the right place and you throw the right weight, you can actually make, you can get a lot of results and make a lot of fun shots. And when it's dead straight, it's just so frustrating, and you really have to kind of change the way you call the game. And the curlers like it when it's swingy.
It's just short.
Okay.
It's short. Good speed, guys.
One.
Didn't have the weight that time, but it is 1 point on the board for Newfoundland. They will take the early lead. Manitoba will have hammer in the second. We'll have a quick look across the ice to explain what else is going on the other sheets. We've got British Columbia taking on Quebec. They have blanked the first end. Quebec currently 5-2, definitely in the hunt for one of those playoff spots. BC 3-4. Again, they're in the same category as Newfoundland Labrador. They're going to need a lot of help, and it seems unlikely that all of the chips are going to fall the right way for any of the teams that already have 4 losses. It's going to be difficult to keep yourself involved. On sheet C, we've got undefeated Saskatchewan taking on Alberta. Saskatchewan all but guaranteed playoff spot. They are 7-0 right now, and I think any number of teams can lose or they can get one more win, and that'll guarantee their spot. Alberta kind of right on the bubble. They could still play their way back into this at 4-3 if they manage to win their last 3. That might be good enough to get them in, but they would have to win this one first. And Saskatchewan playing tough right now. Like I said, undefeated with 7 wins. Sheet D, PEI. They're in the playoff hunt at 6-1. Oh, sorry, not PEI. Nova Scotia is at 6-1, taking on PEI. They're in that 3 and 4 category. So a lot of these games, there's a team that's really in the hunt playing a team that might just be acting in that spoiler role.
That came out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
Is that just really light?
Yeah.
And I know bragging rights are huge. No matter what sport you're in, you want to make sure that when you have your last game that you go out on a win.
And even if you may be out of it, you want the guys who are winning the titles to earn it. So even if they beat you, you don't want to make it easy on them.
Absolutely.
Halfway.
I noticed a lot of players that have been in this mixed have also been to Briar, have been to the Scotty. So it's nice to see that there's a cross-section of players.
Okay, good.
And even in this particular competition, a lot of players who have been in the U20s or U18s in recent years. There's a huge contingent of people in that under 25 category who all recognize each other from various youth national championships or even the college and university championships, because there's a whole bunch of people who are 22, 23 years old who have national experience at the junior level.
Tracking. Not curling yet. Okay, moving now. It's moving now.
It's a very high guard from Newfoundland and Labrador, so they're going to try to make a better one.
Just sweep for distance.
And a very high guard from Manitoba as well.
Touch the line.
It's not where you want those opening stones to be.
Absolutely not.
How you feeling, broski?
Maybe they did have a big dinner.
Well, I was out for dinner, and the Newfoundland gang was sitting a few tables over, so big shout out to the St. Catharines Keg.
Line's nice.
I guess one of the owners is a member of the club and decided to sponsor everybody with a gift card. So I know some of the teams made good use of it, and I know I did.
Well, it's a great restaurant. People go there, they enjoy it.
It's hard to have a bad meal at the Keg. I've never heard anybody complain.
No, not at all. And I'm sure after they've worked hard all week, I'm sure a good steak is exactly what they needed.
Maybe not before a big game, though.
Maybe not before a big game.
Feeling a little sluggish myself, I'll tell you. But just on that note, great organization, great sponsorship that's provided a wonderful experience for all the athletes and spectators. If you look around on all the banners and somewhere in the ice and on the houses, all of the sponsors that have kind of made this event possible. Great thanks to them, and I know the players really appreciate it. And they do try to support those businesses as much as they can while they're in town. You know.
Like, are we just freezing here? Okay. Okay.
Well, I think the experience, from when I've talked to some of the players, they've been very happy. They're happy with their accommodation. I'm sure staying at a hotel all week is not always easy. You know, you don't have the regular foods that you eat, and you know these athletes. I mean, when they're at home and training, you know, their regimen is usually pretty strict. But when they're on the road, it's very difficult when you are at a restaurant and you can't get the foods that you want. So, and it does affect your performance in the long run.
Yeah, the Airbnb industry has changed the way curlers travel, that's for sure, because a lot of these guys, when they go on a Bonspiel weekend or a cash event or a slam or something like that, will prefer to stay at a house where they have a proper kitchen, and they'll try to avoid the hotels if they can help it for that reason. They want something that feels a little bit more like home.
Absolutely, because the way curling is, there's Bonspiels could be every weekend. You could be away 5 days, 4 days, a week, 10 days. And they're also away from their families, some of them.
It also saves you some money, believe it or not. Most of the time you can get a house that'll sleep 4 people for cheaper than it is for a couple of hotel rooms for a week.
Absolutely.
So anyway, most of the players, I think all of them are at the same host hotel, which actually has created a nice social atmosphere. The mix is famous for that compared to the Briar or Scotties. All these teams are sitting down for drinks afterwards and making new friends, and it's a great atmosphere around here.
The weight's pretty close, actually. Okay. Almost.
You got it.
Ty DeLello looking for a medium weight takeout, trying to get a roll here.
Little down.
Yep. Whoa.
Would love to roll it wide behind that high corner.
Yep. Yes. Hard. Roll the shooter. Yep. Good shot.
Good.
They got a bit of a roll, but not quite as much as they would have liked.
No, they've got some separation, which is nice.
Whoa. Close.
Brooke Gosselin looking for a hit and roll of her own. She's going to try the roll the other way, back towards the center line.
Whoa! Okay, well.
Just gets up to the nose, so no roll, and Ryan Wiebe will deal with that.
I don't know. Like, it's hard to roll here.
So Brian, a lot of these players that are here, you talked about the the university games and the juniors. A lot of these players, they have probably curled since they were very young. Would that be fair to say?
I think that's true, especially for the younger crowd of this particular crop. I would say that many of them started playing in either single digits or very early double digits. But many of them go through, like I said, now there's a U18 championship, a U20 championship. Now there are varsity curling programs at colleges and universities. So even though you might have started when you're 13 or 14 or even 15, you still have a chance to play at a fairly high level at a few different opportunities before the time you're 25. So this is not new for, I'd say, anybody here. I think they've all probably played at one of those championships before.
But for people that are watching they're interested in the game, at any age they can come out and they can learn. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I've taught people in their 60s, 70s, 80s just as easily as I've taught 5-year-olds. So it is that the game is great for that. Age is really not a discriminatory factor in this game because you can play at a decent level at any age really.
And it's a wonderful team sport. That's what you said. This environment this week, it is like that at curling clubs across our country. You know, where people come and they learn to curl afterwards. They sit and the most important thing is, you're communing around the table, talking about your family or talking about the game, and you're still engaging people all the time, which I think is important.
It's a great social sport. Everybody knows that, and even the highest level events come with that level of camaraderie and a little bit of socializing. Sometimes a lot of socializing. And if you've ever been to a Briar or a Scotties, the Briar Patch or the Heartstop Lounge is
rocking.
It's rocking. It's literally the entire arena empties and goes and has a drink together, and sometimes the players show up too. Come around attempt by Manitoba just comes up a little shorter than they would have liked, but also pokes out into the open. So not looking to give up more than 2. I think Newfoundland's going to try to hit it.
Yeah, I could have probably given you a little.
If you ever try to ignore that, play a draw, and you don't put it quite in the right spot, it really opens the door for a big number from Manitoba. So if you keep making the greens disappear, you might give up 1 or 2, but it won't be any more than that.
No. It's when you get those big scores up and you just keep looking at the scoreboard and you're down quite a bit. It seems like it's a long way away.
These games are 8 ends, so if you get down early, you've got a little bit less time to fight back than you would in a Brier or a Scotties or any of those 10-end finals. So one big end goes a long way in a shorter game.
Whoa! Close. Close. Scott?
Yeah.
Whoa, straight.
Whoa.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. Scott. Okay, whoa. It's never
Nice
pretty good. What?
weight control there. Nice soft weight so they could actually manipulate it a little bit with the brooms. You heard them going curl, straight. Just trying to hit the exact spot. It ended up over curling just a little bit. That's one where I said he made it too good and got around that guard too close and actually popped out into the open. So an opportunity here for Ryan Weed to hit maybe half a rock and roll under behind that pile. Could set up a 3.
Roll this big. You can overroll it too, right? Yeah. Even a hair more. You're trying to do a half rock with control, so be nice and positive here. Clean. Oh. Clean. Yep. You really gotta go hard. Hard. Right to it.
Yep.
Roll it.
Idelello on the sweep. Can't hold it straight enough, and that's actually disaster because that
really
gives a nice big pocket
I really
for Newfoundland to get both of those greens out of the way.
Yeah, a little soft maybe.
Now I notice for those people that with curling, when they hear there's the person in the house who is calling and there's the person delivering, who do they listen to? I know a lot of people, they say, oh, is it the person that's sitting in the house or is it the person that threw the rock? Because a lot of times they're both trying to,
I guess with hard enough,
relay what they want.
In a perfect world, they're saying the same thing because they're calling the same shot and they're seeing the same action on the ice. Of course, that's not always the case. Sometimes somebody thinks it's going to curl, some thinks we need to hold it straighter. The rule of thumb there that we teach and that everybody has probably heard at some point or another is listen to the person in the house. Just, even if they're wrong, that's the one you are supposed to default to. Just out of... just kind of as a rule of thumb. Doesn't mean they're right, but that's what you're supposed to do.
get out.
Doesn't always happen that way.
Nope, definitely not.
Tough double. It's a good shot, yeah.
Very tough double. I don't think that's there given where the guards are placed.
That works, I think.
Yeah, that's good. Nice shot. I threw it.
Might be easier.
Looks, they're going to throw a draw. Just which path they're going to take is the debate.
I threw it at curling time, but I think you can give lots of ice.
The thing is though, like you gotta get close to this guard, right?
I think he's trying to think that he might be able to double that out, but
No, I don't think so. I just think he's trying to figure out the path. If they're talking about drawing inside out, going towards the wings, which means that the guards close to the center line might be kind of in play as they're curling away from it.
Yeah, you might be able to roll on.
Might be the safest call. I don't know if you can, but
I think you might be able to. Just throw a board at
That's
it.
one of the challenges when there is this much curl. That
board, easy
when you're
board.
throwing a draw, you're not worried about
Even if it's
where
a
it
little
ends up so
soft,
much, but how does it get there? What line does it have to take? When is it going to start curling? And you have to really be comfortable visualizing that path. And I don't think he could really wrap his head around the right line about how that was going to curl. So he's changed his mind, opting for a hit now, trying to get a little roll and maybe a bite of the 8-foot. This is not
Give me
easy.
a hair more. I won't be heavy. A little more. little more.
Because as he rolls here, the rings are actually
Curled in here, nice.
bending away from him, and he needs essentially a bite of the 8-foot. Last shot of the second end coming, looking for a little soft weight hit and roll. Trying to get a piece of the 8-foot.
Curl.
Curl hard, you gotta go.
Hanging on him a little bit, trying to make a curl. Will it come up?
Hard in the yellow.
Not enough. Chips the yellow, but not out of play, and that will be a steal of 2 for Newfoundland. 3-0. Wow, that end turned around just on one shot in the wrong spot.
Certainly did. Certainly did. I think it fooled them.
I just thought you got way out to me,
So that certainly changes the complexion of the game. That was a 3-point swing. Either take 1 or give up 2, and now 3-0 for Newfoundland, playing the third, but I feel that Manitoba might just take that as an opportunity to switch gears and get out the offense. So you'll probably see a lot more guards, a lot more draws, and a lot fewer hits.
15. Yeah.
And across the board, BC 2-0 on Quebec. The underdogs leading that one, and PEI up 2-1 on Nova Scotia. The underdogs leading that one. And in this one, the underdogs up 3-0. So maybe those spoilers are having a night.
I think so. The tides are turning.
Line's good.
And Saskatchewan, Alberta tied 1-1 playing the third. So.
Like just here if it's short. Or whoa, whoa. Whoa, okay, well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Not necessarily what you want to open the end, but if you're going to throw one in, you might as well have a 3-0 lead.
Line's tight.
They were calling for the guard, but they really don't mind it in the house when they're not trying to generate points as aggressively as Manitoba might be.
Whoa, now. Whoa. It's running really good, actually.
Oh, it's tight.
But they're still going to stay on the offensive, I would imagine. Keep it going.
Yeah, you're good.
I think it's one of those where if the opportunity presents itself, they won't send it away, but more likely than not at this point, they just want to make sure that they don't give up a big end right back. It's a little too early in the game to go pure defense. You're not going to peel out 6 more ends, but you got to play kind of that middle of the road and wait for your opportunities.
Room though, room this time.
No, other way. Other way. Other way.
Scott, curl it, Scott. You're still on the guard. How's the weight?
Weight's good. Top 8. Yep.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yep.
Sweet.
That's one thing I've noticed listening to some of these games. And he finally asked her when it was almost in the house, what's the weight? Is it kind of late when you're asking him in the house what the weight is before when the rock's at the house? Is it advantageous to maybe when it lets go to possibly tell what the weight is while it's coming down the ice?
Yeah,
ideally, they have an idea.
Ideally you have that conversation a few times down the path of the rock. As soon as the thrower lets it go, you're going to give them a guess. Halfway down, you give them an update. In that case, it's just, give me one final guess as we're sweeping this in, because if it's a couple feet longer, a couple feet shorter, that can dictate how much you want to sweep it or where you want to leave it. So I think they had a pretty good idea, and that was just probably the final confirmation. But yes, you definitely want to communicate that more than once, and certainly sooner than the far hog line.
I mean, you could be wrong, but at least you're giving them an idea of where the rock is going to be at some point.
That's something that takes practice. But you have to kind of commit to doing it, even though you may be wrong for a little while. And the more you do it, the more your judgment and your accuracy will improve.
Just stay close, Sarah, for line.
Pumping.
Line, Sarah. Okay, no, never mind. I think we're by. No, I'm just watching.
Yeah, I've seen some people timing. I've seen some people not timing. Not as much as I thought I would see more timing being done.
Most of the time, the skips will be taking a hog-to-hog time, especially on draws. Some of the teams are relying on the interval, the split times from the back line to the hog. But a lot of these players who've been playing long enough, and I argue the same thing all the time, is that your internal mechanisms are just as accurate as that stopwatch. So people tend to get too obsessed with the stopwatch. They look at that time and they think that, okay, I got my 3.85, whatever, that's the right number. I don't have to worry anymore. But as you walk alongside that rock, you're going to realize, is that rock getting away from me, or am I dragging my feet? Your body's going to tell you whether you need to sweep or not. And people who get a little too locked in on that stopwatch time tend to forget that there are a lot of other variables involved that can affect that, among which are the way you release, how much you're dragging your knees or your toes, how fast is your slider. All of those things can influence a split time. So my split is not the same as anybody else's, and you got to know on your team how they relate to each other.
And also, the ice does change during the game from hog to hog.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
So you have to take that into account also.
I know my team will actually communicate in the language of split times, but none of us ever has a stopwatch on the rock. So if I say throw an 85-90, we kind of know what that feels like, but nobody's got their stopwatch out. We're talking about a feeling that we have kind of equated to that conceptual number.
Well, that's over many years of practice, I would imagine, Brian.
Yeah. We had one guy.
I would definitely say I wouldn't.
I played with the same bunch of guys for a long time, and the skip would come down to throw a draw. And we'd say, yeah, it's about an 85-90 or 95. Throw. And we would give him a number, and he would throw what we wanted him to throw. And after several years of this, at one point he came down and said, what was my time on the last one? And my buddy looks up and said, we haven't had a stopwatch in 2 years. We've been going by feel and just calling it by the number.
Oh, it's perfect.
Nice.
Good.
Nice freeze there.
Really good.
So Manitoba's got something going here. Newfoundland and Labrador looking to guard for their life, trying to protect that one in the top of the button.
Room early. Let it work.
Scott's
it's really wide.
Go, Scott!
Okay, I gotta help this
Hard!
one. Heads up, Sarah. I got it.
Hard!
It's way out there.
Hard!
Good sweep, Scott. And Sarah.
That was a pretty good example of two things there. One, how much it curls, but also once you get two big sweepers on the one side helping it curl, it can make it even warp that much harder.
Okay.
If you hit this thin, you might get lucky and just...
Okay.
Forward, control.
I like control like it's
Yeah.
And there, once again, you see the sweepers switching sides based on what handle the thrower is asked to deliver. Usually you want your stronger sweeper on the straight side, trying to keep it out. And now you see him switch to the other, trying to make it curl.
Hard curl.
Hard!
Hard.
This is not what they wanted.
Yeah. Okay.
All things considered, not a terrible result, but definitely wasn't the call. The green is still pretty difficult to remove from the top of the 4-foot. The other green is basically buried on the edge of the 8-foot, so Manitoba kind of got away with one there.
Easy early.
I gave it a bit on
Just
the
let it
release.
work a bit.
Easy, guys.
Just
Take a look.
clean, Sarah. Sarah's clean. Sarah's cleaning.
Whoa!
Now, why
clean,
does
Sarah,
he ask
please.
her to clean it?
Just keep a broom down.
A lot of people hear that word a lot.
Just
Just
clean.
clean it. Just clean it. What are they cleaning?
you're keeping the path clean. You're just trying to get the debris out of the way, trying to maybe polish off a little of the frost. You're not trying to extend the life. You just want it to travel a little more predictably. The longer you let a path sit, there will be frost build up, and there will be maybe some debris sitting on that. And if just by having the broom down and doing a little polish in front, you're not really going to make the rock travel any further, but you're going to make it travel better. One thing I wanted to mention, going back to our communication conversation, though, is that on this broadcast and on many broadcasts, only the skip and the vice are actually mic'd up. So when you don't hear the sweepers saying anything, much of that has to do with the fact that they don't have microphones on their collar.
Real nice.
That's pretty easy.
While we're on the topic of microphones and technology, I want to give a huge shout out to the folks from Niagara College, Canada, who are handling the broadcast for us tonight. They've been fantastic to work with all week, and they're putting a nice product out across all 4 sheets, including our primetime broadcast. So thank you to them.
That might be, it's a little weird though, because then we chunk it.
That's my old alma mater.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Yeah, maybe
Not only that, they have good wines, they have good food, they've got good everything.
This should be okay.
Good for them.
Okay.
Yeah, it started off with just, we're planning on 2 sheets of streaming, and then every day they kept bringing in more and more gear. Then we got up to 3, then we got up to 4, then we got up to more intense broadcasts with more features, and it has been a pleasure to work with them, and they're over-delivering based on our expectations. So that's, I know that's what they were hoping to do, and I would say they've accomplished that.
And then some.
I don't love the freeze personally. I think like a couple feet. Yeah. Yeah, 20. Okay, so that was the. Yeah, okay, like my second in the first.
So once again, talking about weight in terms of times, you do see Scott Eaton there looking with the stopwatch. They're looking for a 20, which is
it looks like it's
420 is fast ice, but he is only throwing a guard.
looks good. No.
And a lot of these curlers are adding
Yep, you gotta get behind that green
pretty
one.
positive rotation, which also helps the weight a little bit.
Whoa, you're good. Whoa. It's perfect.
Okay.
It's good. Well, not quite perfect.
It's good, but you heard him say not quite perfect. That yellow rock is exposed a little bit.
Is it?
There's only a sliver poking out, but it is enough to hit.
Then he's got to make this pick. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Keep firm.
You got it.
Yeah. Shouldn't do much.
So you can see maybe a quarter of a rock, but that's enough of a target that he's going to try to pick it out at the back and sit 2.
No. Yeah, shouldn't do much. Yeah. Got plenty. Yep. Back it out. Hard.
Looks like he started it.
Just touches his own on the way by.
Jeez.
Shoot.
Such a bad throw.
Such a bad throw, he says. Wasn't that bad. Missed it by an inch, but got a little bit lucky. He chipped his green sideways and parked it on his other green. Got a little unlucky in that second green. Traveled an inch too far, so he's sitting second shot, but not third.
What you really can't do here is over curl.
And
Like 2. Like
if Trent Skanes can make a good guard here, it's going to be very difficult to score, although not impossible.
Yeah, 2 guard, yeah. No. I'm just gonna feel it off that. Let it work.
And last rock for Newfoundland Labrador here, trying to just cover the rock on the button.
Got to sweep her distance. Yeah, you got to cover it. Yeah, you got to go all the way, guys. All the way.
Trying to drag this as far as it goes along that curly path. Need to get it almost back to the center line. And there may still be a hole there. Maybe.
Good. Just good enough.
There probably is a hole there, but it's only for one.
Good sweep, guys.
If you manage to make it through the hole, make contact with the yellow on the forefoot, you're rolling out.
You give that a little couple inches more and just
No more edge.
Looks like he's trying to run his green in onto that forefoot rock.
Four is good. Yeah.
Well, he's got to manage that. If he's not, how's he going to manage going through the port? He can't take that yellow off of that.
You can hit the yellow, but you can't stay. So if you're going to throw a hard shot, it might as well be for two.
No.
Has to hit a thin half here. Maybe he's close. Should be close.
Really nice.
Just like that.
Nice shot.
What a shot there from Ryan
Nice
Wiebe.
shot.
Called and made. And like I said, if you're going to do it, if you're going to throw a hard one, make it for two.
Make it for two.
Two green, yeah.
And just like that, could be a game saver. If you don't make that, you're giving up another steal. You're down 4-0 at that point. But no, now it's a 1-point game, and you're right back in it. What a shot there from Manitoba.
And it does swing the game. When you get those points back, you can feel it. Even when you play yourself, you can feel it. Okay, we have a chance.
And on the other side of that, when you do have a lead and you are in pretty good shape, the other team makes that shot. All of a sudden, you tighten up because the game just got game got closer, you got tighter, and meanwhile they're feeling a lot better because they made a good one, brought themselves back into it. So attitude, the mental toughness, such a big part of this game and handling your emotions.
Because you can practice and you can practice and you can practice, but until you're out in a game, it's like any other sport. You know, you don't know what your nerves are going to do.
And learning to treat the mechanics and the game the same regardless of the situation is really a high-level skill that not everybody has mastered. If you can treat the first shot of the week like the last shot of the week, that's going to go a long way in making consistent, repeatable deliveries, where if you get a little wrapped up in the moment sometimes.
Well, it's good to have teammates that can get you out of that also. Can bring the positive to the game. You know, when you have a bad shot or, you know, you just don't feel like you're in the game, they can pick you up.
Line's good.
Because no one wants to or tries to throw a bad rock.
Oh, of course.
It happens.
Tracking. Line's
That is definitely true. Big factor in high-performance teams are the mental toughness and the emotional awareness, but also the team dynamics and how the team can react.
Sit down.
How the unit can work together a little bit better. That's something I focus on a lot as a coach, is to try to create an environment that everybody knows what they need to do, even when things aren't going well. So just looking across their scoreboards, Nova Scotia was down 2-1. Now they're up 3-2. They took 2 in the third and are now leading PEI. Saskatchewan, Alberta still 1-1. They blanked the third end, and nothing in the house in the second. In the fourth. BC still leading Quebec, but it's 2-1 now. Again, this is the fourth end. At the end of this, we'll have a short break for halftime. We'll run a mop up and down the ice, maybe throw a little pebble on the slide path. Players get a few minutes to catch their breath, and we will do the same. So stay tuned at the half. We will be back in 3 or 4 minutes.
Little less. Little less.
Yeah, what I was going to ask you with mixed curling, would there be game adjustments between the men and the women because the games can be a little different, or at this level, it's basically the same?
I think once the team's established, that's going to be their order. But there certainly have been good teams that have won with women playing second and skip. It's just not usually what you see, but they're certainly allowed, and they're. I believe Shannon Kleibrink won a mixed national skipping as the female skip, and so yeah, there's really no reason to say you can't do it. But I think once you've established your team, those are the roles that you're going to play for the week.
I want to say all there.
Because regards what you were saying earlier about the sweeping, it would be advantageous to have 2 male sweepers.
Yeah.
If you had to, but it obviously seems to work. So.
No, and you make a good point as far as the sweeping there. If you've got a skip who you trust is going to make the shots at the right time, it doesn't matter whether it's man or woman. Obviously, if you look at the next sheet, you got Amber Holland, who is a Scotties winning skip, playing third for Saskatchewan. And then Christina Black, who's skipped at the Scotties, is now playing third for Owen Purcell from Nova Scotia. So you've got some very capable skips who are in the third position. But there is no reason to say that they couldn't swap their lineup around and let that person into the house.
Line's a little tight.
3. 3.
Yeah, play it off this guard. Yeah.
So both teams playing a little bit more offensively here. A lot of rocks in play, a lot of guards and taps and freezes. And
good shot, it works.
it's starting to get a little bit interesting. This is one where one good shot or one slight miss can really change the complexion of the end.
Absolutely.
On 2.
Line's good.
Like top. Just like a guard.
Really got to go, but the line's pretty good if the weight can get there. I think.
Wow, great shot.
Ooh, how good are your eyeballs there?
It looks pretty good.
Looks green, maybe?
It looks green.
I was saying guard.
I think it's green.
Just at the amount of curl from the top of the house to the button there. It was well wide, but that last couple of feet, it just hooked right over to the pin.
That was a team. That was considered a team shot. All 4 of them.
No doubt about that. You gotta thank your sweepers on that one.
Like, any licks.
And it's a long week for these players.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, they're together 24/7 mostly. At the rink, eating, at the hotel. It's a long time to. Hopefully, friendships come out of that, but they have to be able to get along and get along on the ice.
Yeah, this week's a grind. No matter whether you're winning or losing, you've got to play as many as 10 games before you get to the playoffs, and. You know, I always have a conversation with people say, why would curlers ever need steroids? It's like,
That's my first thought.
because they have to compete for 30 to 40 hours to get a gold medal, where if you're a bobsledder, you're done in 2 minutes.
Same with the skier, go down the hill, right? A minute and a half. And
if you're a sprinter in the Olympics, your job is done in about three or four 10-second heats. You haven't even competed for 1 minute, where curlers are on the ice and engaged for 10 to 12 3-hour games sometimes. So, to say that doesn't take a toll on you physically or mentally or Emotionally, that it's, I mean, obviously not endorsing steroids, but it's totally understandable
Oh
why
boy.
people might think that's an advantage.
Absolutely.
No.
Not only that, the hours they spend at a rink
Yeah, curl, curl. Whoa,
before
whoa.
they get to a bond
Curl,
spiel,
curl, curl.
they
curl,
might go and
curl.
throw 120
My bad.
rocks every day,
My bad.
and then go to a gym and
Sorry.
spend maybe 2 hours at a gym. So it's not just coming and playing in a bond spiel. They still have to get themselves into shape in order to compete.
Yeah, and
Try to chip this over
that
too.
physical conditioning, if you are in good shape, you're going to last a lot longer and more comfortably during the week. But yeah, in an event like this, if you're not in at least okay shape, by the time you get to about Wednesday afternoon, everything starts to feel a little bit heavy. The arms aren't working quite as well. Things might be a little bit sore, and I don't care how old you are. If you're playing 6, 7, 8 games in a few days, it's gonna
Absolutely.
catch up with you.
Well, that's the nice thing about the facility at St. Catharines Golf and Country Club. They have a beautiful
Not sure where the
gym
ice call is coming
that
from.
players are able to use. They've got places in the club that they can go. There's the lounges, and it's kind of been nice for them.
Well, a little unforced error there from Newfoundland Labrador opens up some potential for Manitoba. They're sitting maybe first, third, and fourth, but that is a lonely yellow rock sitting there on the back of the button.
You can go.
Keep it out there if you can. Line's good, easy, line's good.
I
Top
think you
12.
gotta go for top 12.
Line's good. Easy. No, yeah, a little bit, yeah. Whoa,
Curl.
curl, curl.
Manitoba looking to throw
Yep,
another
yep,
one
yep,
right
yep,
there
yep,
onto the pile. If this gets to the top of the forefoot, it will be very difficult to remove. A little bit higher maybe than they would have liked, but I think it's still in a pretty good spot. You can't take a run at it without threatening that yellow in the back.
It's not that much different than what you just played. You want to play the same turn again? Okay.
And it would be something to open it up so he can at least get to.
Yeah, I think he's ready to sacrifice that yellow in the back just for a shot at one. Something makeable so he can not give up a handful. Right now that yellow sitting at the back of the button is actually hurting his chances of getting another yellow in.
Yep. Yes! Shit. Okay, not so bad. Oop, that's a burn. Good shot. Worked out well, yeah.
He got away with it there. Not quite the point of contact they were looking for, but managed to squirt the green off the top of the back yellow without moving it too far. So pretty fortunate roll there, because I think he was convinced that yellow was flying out the back and then green was be sitting a handful.
What does that do for us?
I don't know.
Like,
Kind
I
of
feel,
protects the yellow, or the green. Because right now,
So what do you
like,
think
right now
Ryan
they
should
just
do
got
here?
this, right?
yeah. Yeah, I guess this.
He's
and
got
then
two
put
left,
Ryan
they've
to
got
go
two
on
left,
here.
and
Yeah.
yellow has the hammer. So you really have to ask yourself, what are we trying to accomplish? Are we, how badly do we want to steal versus how badly do we want to make sure he's got a hard shot for one? And sometimes they're the same thing, sometimes they're not. I think the easiest shot right now, and that's sometimes you also have to ask yourself, what are they going to do? I think the easiest shot is probably just
And you have like
running that yellow straight back
They're just going, like,
to
two
sit
lines.
first and second.
Just
So
trying to move it back,
Yeah.
catch, and just try to get to there.
I think just
So
making
what they're
sure
talking about is playing a little chip off their green to
Yeah.
get behind the yellow to mess up the angles a little bit,
Here. Yeah.
which
Got it.
Yeah.
I don't hate, but if it's a little more complicated than it needs to be, I think. I think you could just throw a guard or even try to freeze on top of the yellow to mess up that angle.
Still nice and past you, eh? I'll make sure I give you a positive release. I think we're always getting back with this line.
Like I noticed at this level too, Brian, that
Still
you know,
running pretty
skips
good,
are
eh?
already 3 thoughts ahead, or 3 ends ahead in their head what they want to do. That's providing that the opponent does what he thinks he's going to do.
Which at this level you get right most of the time.
Whoa.
What I find
Really
a
good
little
release.
frustrating is when I expect, especially at the club level, I expect the club level skip to call
Line's
what,
good. Broom down.
you know, in theory is the right call, but they don't always do that, and that's actually really hard to play against.
Yeah.
So looking for a little bounce off this green rock, trying to spill in behind. Look for a little bounce off of that, tuck it in.
Really good.
I would say that's really good as well.
Good.
Exactly as called, so no easy way to
Really
get
good.
at
I
that
14-9.
green rock on the top of the button. Play that green. It's just going to jam on the back of the yellow, so
Yeah, just wiggle them around a little.
Yeah. Yeah, and try to roll the other one in there. You might not outcount that, but at least, you know, you might. Tip it the right
the
way.
one that was just thrown is not going anywhere, no matter how hard you hit it.
Exactly.
They're just trying to, he's going to hit it hard and just try to get some things spinning and hopefully open up a better path for a point.
Thinking this way, so that would be for the high side.
I prefer that
Yeah.
way, yeah.
A little bit more than that.
Well, he's not throwing it with a lot of weight with that much ice. I assumed that he was going to whip it, but he's taking...
Like nose or just high.
It's going to try and bounce it off the green.
Shot. Just bored.
Yeah, trying to...
Yellow onto green.
Just trying to hit it nose or just high.
Trying to
and
nose the
jiggle
yellow
something
into
around.
and just kind of rattle. You heard us rattle the greens around a little bit, but
Not a huge ask, I know, but
I don't know that I see what the great benefit is here, but he had a better look at it than I did.
easy early.
Scott!
Whoa, close. Scott.
This really needs to curl. Scotty trying to push it over.
Yep.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's different.
Not bad. Not the greatest, but not bad.
I don't know that it improved the situation a whole lot.
Okay. Not the worst.
Know what he does if you guard it.
Yeah, that's for 1, and this is for a steal of 2. He's got the pick hole.
Yeah, like right where your
Give
broom
him
is.
like that, right?
It almost
yeah, right
looks-
here.
Yep.
Put up a guard.
Like here?
Yeah, they were just talking about whether it's worth... There might be a pick on the green on the outside, and it might go over the top of the backing, but they're going to let him throw that because it would only maybe be a score of 1. If they put this guard in a good place, it could lead to a definite steal. So this one needs to come right back up to the center line, maybe an inch or 2 across, and that will make things difficult on Newfoundland and Labrador.
Stay on it, Tyler. Bring down.
It's got to curl. It's got to curl. Really got to curl. Hard.
So right back to the center line, an inch across,
You're good.
2 inches,
Sorry.
a little bit more. I think it does the job though, so
Sorry. Good shot.
So now he's going to run yellow onto green.
no hesitation there. Just put the broom down and hustle down to the far end. The high yellow guard into the top 12 yellow and to pick the
right there.
green off the button. If you stick it, it's for 2, but that would be one heck of a
Try to
shot.
nose and then hit that yellow into the green. So you don't need to throw like 10, really. That's what I'm feeling, yep.
Throwing a 10, which is a nice control weight hit. This is not going to be a missile.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Whoa.
whoa.
Sorry.
Just a little confusion on the line call there. Needed to curl up a bit. Normally the yes, no means you're really close, but unfortunately for Newfoundland there,
That's okay. Yeah.
the line call was on the wrong side. That's where you're listening to the person in the house, and sometimes they get it wrong. So we're going to take a quick break for the fourth end. We will be back in a few minutes, and we will see you on the other side.
Well, you beasted it behind.
That was a great shot.
Niagara College Bob.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.
Cheez-Its or goldfish?
Like a chocolate mousse for 1 minute left. Perfect.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? They're more cheesy. You could probably eat 2/3 murder lots of Cheez-Its. Just delete it. Alright.
And we are back for the start of the 5th end. Jennifer Clark-Ruier throwing up the center guard after a steal from Manitoba ties it up. They were down early, took 2 in their steal, and now we have a 3-3 game. So I got a battle going on here. That one slides in. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not. This does seem to be a running theme. We have seen this almost every game that we've commentated, that after the break, that first rock always slides deep. And I think it has to do with running the mop up and down, and maybe just takes a layer of frost off. But we have seen that every game, I think.
At least it's consistent.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep, 10-1. Nice throw, Sarah.
Nice hit and roll from Sarah McNeil-Lambswood. Manitoba going to ignore that one and try to throw the center guard up once again. Which leads me to believe that first one was a little bit of a mistake.
Well, it's interesting with the 5-rock rule that they have now, too, that they're not utilizing that more. That's what we talked about it earlier. A lot of the teams are not. You see them; they seem to want to come into the house. Is that a strategy, perhaps?
Definitely a strategy choice. I'd say there's a right time and a wrong time, and then there's a let's see how it goes. So generally, most teams are going to open with that center guard. The other team will frequently play the draw around instead of throwing a guard. The only time that the team with the hammer is going to throw a corner is when they're really a little more ambitious or a little more desperate to try to score a big end. When I teach strategy courses, I say there's all-out offense, there's all-out defense, but most of the game is played somewhere in the middle. So certain situations call for one or the other, but the whole game is kind of played in that middle ground, and then you wait for your opportunities to kind of lean to the offensive when things are going your way, or bail out with the defensive side of things. So yeah, definitely a strategy choice about the placement of those guards. And yeah, we have seen a couple of corner guards thrown up, and as we said before, they don't frequently get used, but
Clean.
we have seen it work a couple of times.
Whoa. Whoa. Curl, 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 curl. Okay, that's fine. Shot dive.
Okay.
All sheets back in action after the halftime break. Nova Scotia has recovered from their early deficit and now leads 5-2 after 4. Alberta looking to hand Saskatchewan their first loss. They're up 4-1 on Saskatchewan.
Clean. Yep.
And BC up 4-1 over Quebec.
10.
Again, some
There's
of these
some real surprises.
Oh yeah, some of these teams that are kind of, dare I say, snuck into the championship pool at maybe a 3-3 record, playing a bit of a spoiler against the teams that came in with the 6-0s or the 5-1s, and that's why we play the games. If you went by records, sports wouldn't be very much fun.
No, they wouldn't. Plus, also, I find when you see that even at different levels of any other sports too, people are more relaxed when they know that there's not a lot on the line that they have to lose, and they go out there and they play the game that they really want to play.
Yep, we spoke about this with golf in one of the previous games. When you're really trying to crush it, you're probably going to hit it in the woods. If you're relaxed and you try to smooth it out there, you might hit the biggest drive of your life and right up the middle. So trying harder doesn't necessarily yield results.
Hurt, bro. You got it. Hurt. Fight jam. Good speed. Good sweep.
It was
12-8.
good bad result.
Second
Got the
and a
hit off the top of the forefoot, but jammed it on the back,
Yep.
which was not what they were hoping to do.
Hack forward. Solid hack forward.
Brian, you and I were talking earlier about you've coached, you've learned to curl, and at our club we have a really good learn to curl, and you know, Curling Canada came out with that, and it's been a great program. When I learned to curl, there was nothing like that. They used to pair us with people that were curlers in the club, and we'd be on the ice with them. And now these people that are getting to learn to curl, which I think is an amazing program, and they have mentors. Their game and their
I don't love that.
knowledge
It just happens into
is
a bit.
amazing.
Yeah, I think that
I'm
that
okay with the heavy hack. Like,
the learn to curl system that
it's not
kind of
curling
got
too much.
piloted in Ottawa and got tweaked by people at Curling Canada and then put into kind of a manual is a great program to bring people into the club and give them a little bit more than kind of an afternoon lesson where they get a little bit of mentorship and a little bit of supervision while they learn to play games, and it's not just getting thrown into the deep end. And I know from the ones that I've run at either the Cricket Club or the Granite Club in Toronto that the people who come out of those learn to curl sessions after 6 or 8 weeks are generally right up to speed with the members who have been playing for years and years and years because they've gotten good instruction from the start. My frequent joke is most curlers learn from somebody who learned from somebody who figured it out, and there's not a lot of great technical instruction in that format. So to get some coaches trained, to have a curriculum that you work your way through, and to have that supervision from the beginning is really important. And you see that pay off in those learned curl leagues, and a lot of those members stick around a lot longer because they enjoy the game sooner.
Yes, and also with the addition now of people that are using the stick, that is lengthened people's, I'd say, careers or their playing time, because they can still curl, but they no longer, for whatever reason, whether they've got injuries, their mobility isn't able to get down in the hack, they're still able to be on the ice, and I think that's an amazing change, I think, to the curling that I've seen in the last 25 years.
Oh, definitely. And sometimes if, like you said before, people were throwing with the stick, you would have maybe an older gentleman come in who's not quite stable on the ice and couldn't quite bend as well as he used to. Now I basically don't even try with the traditional slide. It's like, you know what's going to make you more comfortable? Here, throw it this. And you can see their face light up going, oh, I can do this. I was a little worried about the other bit, but I can handle this part. And you're right, it has extended careers. It has, I know even my own parents have used it. My mom had knee surgery, and while recovering from knee surgery, couldn't do her normal slide, so she played with a stick for a year.
Just freeze it, just freeze it, just freeze it.
Now that she's recovered, she's back to sliding, but it allowed her to play when the body wasn't quite up for it.
And that's the enjoyment about it's an inclusive sport. And we also, I know at our club, we do have wheelchair curlers, and they are now we're integrated into leagues with us. And it's amazing. And some of these people are amazing with their stick. It's quite long, mind you, but we have wheelchair accessibility, which is great for people who need the mobility to get on the ice. And we've all adapted to it, and it's great. And these individuals are going around playing in bonspiels, and it's exciting. It's exciting for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually the media attaché for the last 2 Paralympic wheelchair teams.
Oh, excellent.
And so I got a front row seat to world-class wheelchair curling, and the number of shots they make with no sweeping and a delivery that lasts literally the length of their arm, because that's all the seated shove allows is just one push from a chair. The number of shots, the precision, the weight control, all that stuff that able-bodied curlers take you know, their whole slide, they've got 4 seconds to play with it, and then they let it go. And then the sweepers can manipulate it for the next 20 seconds. And to make that shot better, somebody sitting in a chair and just giving it a shove is as good a good portion of the time. And they made a lot of fantastic shots. So both of the teams that I was working with ended up coming home with Paralympic bronze medals. And
oh, that's amazing.
That was a lot of fun to be a part of.
That's amazing.
Close.
Top floor.
Really close.
Line's good, oh yeah.
Line's great. Line's good.
Line's great.
Yep.
So we've got this classic center guard, and see who can get the angles lined up behind it.
No, line's okay. Line's good. Straight.
Yeah.
Straight.
Hard, right to it.
Hard.
Go.
Okay. Good brush. Okay.
Good. Works.
Green on a yellow, on a green, on a yellow, on a green. So.
Like the stars are aligned.
Yeah.
Looks like a mixed doubles game back there.
Actually, what do I like? He hasn't really done much there to improve the situation for himself. Like, we could try this now.
Yeah,
then
but
he
if
might
you're,
smack that
if
up.
you're ever up here, then he's got an easy slot.
Yeah, that's what we want on our last.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We could just block this side so that he can't do that. He might take the run. Why don't we guard that run?
You could come up here, make a short
No,
run for
I don't
yourself.
like. Yeah, he slashes it into it, that, and that's gone.
Okay.
I think guarding the run maybe. I think I like that, Brooke. Just
You
dead
could-
guard. But
you
there's no need to throw another rock in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? I think I'm good to just guard that. I know it's weird, but I like it. whatever for the center line, maybe a bit more.
I know it's weird, but I like it.
Yeah.
Don't like
Play, but we have 2 ways
throwing
to
a
score
guard
two right now. I don't think he can
on the center line when you don't have
He's
him.
gonna guard his run because I think that's what he wants
And-
to play.
Sorry, when you do have hammer roll, like it just doesn't
dead guard the
It
2.
doesn't take long before that rock starts working
Right
against
in
you.
front
So
of his green.
uh,
Like I think his
I don't
best
mind
play
getting
is the
rid
run.
of that
Is
green
he go
guard,
Run, stick.
peeling it out of the way, and then maybe opening some access to the forefoot a little bit better, so they don't have as much to hide behind. But hypothetically, if Manitoba makes a good shot or two,
I didn't love that.
that guard could be working against it pretty quick. But
Easy. Don't want to chip it.
I guess this is the last shot for Manitoba, so they don't have a whole lot of options.
Where's the weight though?
No.
Where's the weight?
But don't you find sometimes too with some of the skips
No,
that they want to make the shot they want to make.
Leave it.
That's the shot they see. That's the shot they want to make, and it's hard to change them sometimes.
I do understand the call. I thought there was one more rock to come for each team, so I just kind of lost focus there. That call makes sense in that case, but it still could have. I just don't think it's what I would have played, and I think there is a way to get in there. Maybe to sit shot if you can get a piece of the button, and now that guard's really not helping much. But
Just right there.
the angles just maybe quite aren't there.
You're going to get a bit more rotation because we're in the weeds, but just aiming for a top 4, top 12 here. Yeah. I think it runs not too bad out here.
That's a new term. We're in the weeds.
It's not new to me, but honestly, you're right. I haven't heard it all week, but yeah, once you get out a little bit wider to the ice that hasn't been played on as much, frequently called the weeds. This is really just to take away the draw path, I think. They're not actually trying to score here.
No, just to my broom.
It's just got to dig. It's just got to dig.
Looks like it's sliding a little deeper than they maybe wanted, but it's pretty close. Well, the reason they guarded that side is because I think coming at this side, you have to be way more precise to get that piece of the button to outcount that back green. That obviously has a little, just barely a bite of the button, so trying to get any more than that for your second point is going to be difficult.
No, mid 12. Little less. Little more. Yeah.
Not impossible, but difficult. So last rock of the 5th coming. He's got 1 in the pocket already. Trent Skanes trying to get a piece of the button for 2.
No, you got to go on that all day. It looks light to me. Looks like, yeah, it's nothing. Nothing on that.
And 1 will go on the board for Newfoundland and Labrador. They will go up 4-3. Interesting end there. That was all about getting the freeze in the right place, getting the angles right, and a lot of that ended up behind the tee line, which is not ideal when you're trying to generate a lot of points, because usually it just creates backing, and whoever locks it on best can count their 1. Manitoba will have hammer coming into the 6th. Looking at our scores across the board, Nova Scotia up 6-2 playing the 6th. Alberta up 4-2 playing the 6th on Saskatchewan. That would be the first loss for Saskatchewan if it was going to end like that.
That would be a huge upset.
It would, based on the standings as they are, but I don't think anybody would be surprised to see Alberta winning curling games.
No, true. Well, they struggled at the beginning of the week. A few of their games, I watched a few of their games. They seem to have struggled a little
Line's
bit.
good.
I feel like every team in this entire event, including those in the seeding pool,
really
had a game or two that were very winnable,
Keep it clean.
that just
2 for
didn't quite
sure.
work out. You know, you missed the last shot in the last end where you had one to win and you gave it away, or something like that, where I think probably every team except Saskatchewan has a loss that they don't feel they should have, and I think Alberta's probably got a couple of those. They're 4-3 at the moment. They're not out of it, and this win would actually go a long way.
Running.
T-line.
Especially if
T on its own.
Quebec would also, they're losing at the moment. If that result stands, then they would drop to 5-3. Alberta would improve to 5-3. And then they would be tied for that last playoff spot. So this would be a big win for Alberta. Of course, there's 2 more games to play tomorrow. So whatever the standings are now doesn't quite matter.
Line's good.
Now, where the draw to the buttons
Tracking.
amounts come into play, when do they use those? If there's a tie at the end of the round robin and teams are tied, is it a win-loss? Who, you know, if Quebec beat, let's say, Nova Scotia, are they seated a little higher, or?
The head-to-head will always determine the tie if that solves anything. The problem is if it's a 3-way tie, or in some cases, sometimes those teams never played each other, depending on how the draw works. But in this case, all teams are playing everybody. If 2 teams end up with the same record, it'll be the head-to-head between the 2. If it's 3 teams and everybody beat everybody else, then the draw to the button score will come into play. I suppose that is technically possible with a couple games to go, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. There's too many games and results to factor in to start thinking about all the different possibilities. Started doing that yesterday when it came to seeing who was going to get into the championship pool, and we needed to take into account 3 different games and what their shootout score was, and look to see who beat who. And anyway, just it's a lot of math.
But that draw to the button is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being able to see it all week, it's interesting. And how many didn't even make the house? I felt quite good. Thought that was me.
I think for every time a high-level skip draws the button for a win, there's also one where he comes up about 10 feet short, but you don't remember those so much. So just like regular club curler, sometimes you're not as close as you want to be.
Well, that's what happens as a club curler. You watch, a lot of the elite athletes, and they miss miss the house, or it goes through, and you think, wow, I did that too.
They're just like us.
They're just like us.
I get that sensation more often on watching golf.
Oh.
Every now and then you see a PGA Tour pro shank one, and you go, okay, even they can do it. Makes me feel a little bit better. Great shot there to get the yellow going out the side. All of a sudden, Manitoba sitting 3.
Oh, it's not my turn.
Now, would a lot of these teams played each other? On the circuit, you see all the teams that have played numerous times. You see the stats. This is their 15th time playing, and you've won 10, I've won 5. Same with a lot of these teams that have been out here.
Yeah, it was.
Yes and no. I think a lot of the players would know each other from their men's or ladies' career. There just isn't really a mixed competitive circuit like that. So for a few of these guys who have been back to the mix year after year, they might be familiar with some of the teams as a whole. But more often than not, some of these guys might have played at a Cash event or Briar or something and know each other from that, or some of the women who have been to the Scotties are certainly familiar. But whole teams knowing each other, because there is no competitive mixed circuit, there's probably not a lot of true head-to-head records where these guys have faced each other before.
You think there's room for that?
I don't know. The curling schedule seems pretty full already, so unless you want to find 4 people who are totally committed to mixed, which is not impossible, but also if you're more people have kind of committed to that mixed doubles side, so now you got people focusing on that. You got people focusing on men's, you got people focusing on women's. I love 4-player mixed curling. I like it even more than mixed doubles, and I might be the minority there, but I wish there was more competitive mixed, or more fun, even more fun mixed. Like mixed bonspiels are fun.
Whoa! 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 Close, yep! Whoa! Ah, nice shot. Very nice.
Nice double there from Brooke Goslin. Manitoba's still set up for that junior deuce we talk about so often. The house is split wide, and if this is made, there will be no good opportunity for a double.
Clean.
Yep.
Hard tight.
Yep.
Hold it there.
Hard.
Yep, keep going. Okay,
Right
you're
up,
good.
right
Great
up.
shot. You're good.
Nose is
Nice.
good. Little baby roll's not bad. Those are flat enough that you're not going to be able to get both greens moving.
Good sweep.
Yep.
Yep.
Whoa, whoa. Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Clean, clean. Yep,
Whoa.
yep. Clean,
Whoa.
clean, 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 clean. Good.
Not only I'm going to say this is a long week, I was able to meet with officials. I was able to learn how to do timing, which was very exciting. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Part of the curling experience I didn't have before. But I'd like to also give a shout out to the people that are here from the Canadian Curling Association, who are the officials. It is a long week for them, and they are dedicated people. You see them at the ends doing scoring, or if there's a problem, they're at either end of the ice. If the players run into a problem, then they have an official, an umpire there to help them. People in the background that are working constantly, and it's grueling for them. Not only the players, maybe physically, not like the players are experiencing, but it is for them. It's a long week, and even when they go back and meet at the hotel, they're discussing. What went right today, what didn't go right, and it's great, and they're volunteers by Curling Canada. They're
like a foot high from a freeze. If we did freeze it,
they've taken courses and so forth. So it's it's a good thing, and a lot of them are doing it for a very long time.
Yeah. It is a long week, even for the officials and the staff in the building. And speaking from experience, when you play in one of these events, you can leave the arena.
Absolutely.
You might have one game a day, and you can go relax. And I mean, you're in the Niagara region. You go down to the falls. You go do a wine tour. You maybe go home and have a nap, whatever. But you can get away from the building. But for ice makers, officials, staff, a lot of the committee and the volunteers, they're getting here for today it was a 9 o'clock start this morning, and they're going to be here right to the end of the day. I, having done a few of these, can totally relate to the fatigue that starts to set in from the end of the week, even from the people who aren't playing.
Oh, absolutely. And the staff, everybody's been great. The volunteers, the person who's headed this up, Michelle Scott, she has been amazing. She's got everything timed down to the minute. And they have to be very, very proud that they've put on a wonderful, wonderful event.
Yeah, that's definitely worth repeating. You can tell, again, having done a bunch of events like this, you can tell when you show up whether things are under control or not, and this committee and this Michelle and all the volunteers are on top of everything. It's been top-notch so far, so congrats to the St. Catharines Golf and Country Club and all of the people involved. And congrats on their 125th anniversary. I know that's a big deal around here this year.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Which is part of the reason this event showed up. They wanted a marquee event to host on their 125th year. So here we are at the Canadian Mixed.
And hopefully there'll be more to come.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, St. Catharines, no stranger to high-level events. Hosted the Scotties not too long ago. They've done the juniors twice recently. I don't think Curling Canada or the Grand Slam people would say no if another bid came forward.
He was,
and he throws it different.
I wouldn't.
Oh, well, he throws it like mine should curl as much or more, and everything's been diving here.
I like just over center.
Yeah, I like give myself some space.
So when he's talking about everything's diving here, what is he referring to when he's talking about that?
Just how much it curls moving inside out. We just saw Ryan Wiebe throw a hit with a lot of weight and a lot of rotation, and I think he did that on purpose to try to keep it straight. Trent Skanes here is trying to throw a softer weight shot, maybe only like hackerboard weight, and I think he's worried about how much curl it will bend from the center line toward the sideline, and it's hard to control sometimes with if there's a little extra swing going that way. It's kind of hard to predict what kind of curl you're going to get and when. So with his last shot, he's trying to play that soft in turn, wondering how much it's going to curl. This is tracking up the middle.
Oh no.
Sarah McNeil Lambswood trying to carve it over. Maybe to get a piece, but they're not going to get a whole lot enough of it. Got the nose. But should be an easy shot, or does he consider the double?
Game a double. Should have been going hard for line and roll it more.
It's easier than it looks, right? Like, you're never really going into that. Like,
I think Ryan Wiebe's eyes lit up there, and Ty wanted to make sure that, like, are you? Let's take a second here. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
This is one where you can kind of take it on, but play it the safe way. So if you're not sure you're close to making it, you can just let it curl up and nose for two.
Yeah, you want to make sure you take your two.
Yeah. But if you ever do it just right, you might be able to skirt across the top into the yellow and bump it for 3.
It shouldn't curl at all, though.
Looking for probably 2/3 of this, but pretty hard.
Clean, yep.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can hurt this one. You got to back it up a bit.
That's fine.
Well, that's where he needed to hit it, basically, but just had to
Absolutely.
do it harder, which is
Too green.
scary to imagine. But 2 on the board for Manitoba. They're going to take a 1-point lead into the 7th.
Way too safe. I know it was
Stay
great.
tuned, folks. We've got a
Okay.
game here.
Yeah, 2's huge.
You couldn't have even gone over. Like, if I had 2/3, it just banged.
Yeah.
Okay, 2's great. 2's great. Yeah. Yeah, let's keep up the pace a little bit. That was a good end, though. Like,
Yeah.
Well, they seem happy with that end.
Yeah, I would be too if a rather stress-free 2 on the board. The chance for 3, albeit that would have been one heck of a shot. So BC takes another 2 on Quebec. That game's getting out of hand, playing the 7th end. 6-2. Alberta up 5-2 on Saskatchewan, so this will... I know everybody's focused on the game they're playing, but there's always some scoreboard watching, and I guarantee you Alberta knows that if Quebec loses, that brings them right back into this competition.
hard. Keep it out there. Hard, 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 hard. Okay.
And I imagine too, you know, after talking to, I was talking to the Nunavut team, and interesting enough,
That's fine.
they have not been on the ice since last December. This was their first time on the ice,
Well, good shot.
and it's just amazing that they were able to play, and they're going to the next bonspiel that they're playing in is the seniors division. So they feel they've had their warm up here, which has been kind of nice.
Yeah, not the start you necessarily want to jump into if you haven't
No.
thrown a rock
Lines,
competing at a
you got
national
room.
championship, but
No,
Okay, where are we?
there aren't a lot of curling clubs up that way, and I guess they just don't get
Just a
started
3.
quite as early in the year as we do around here.
well, that's why the reason I brought that up is that you have Alberta, which is a huge field of players. It must be very difficult to get out of that province, as is Saskatchewan, as is Manitoba, and even Ontario, where you have a lot of the smaller provinces. You know, you don't have the competitors or people that are able to go to these bonspiels to be able to compete, to make it. And, you know, it's a good experience for them.
Liked it.
Line's nice.
Yeah, definitely not as much competition in the territories.
good.
I know that Yukon and Northwest Territory at least had a play down, but I don't know if that's the case for Nunavut this year. But you're right on where, at least in some of the bigger provinces, you'll have to qualify for a provincial. You have to go through a 10 or 12 team provincial and like really fight your way here. And by the time that this rolls around, you've probably been on the ice since September, or sometimes it goes in certain places in August. So this is by no means the first rocks that any of these other teams have thrown all year.
There are a lot of teams, Brian, on the ice all year round.
Not very many, especially in Canada. Yeah, that might be the case.
Interesting. The reason I'm asking you that, today I was watching the Grand Slam of curling, and they were saying Scotland has ice all year, so they are on the ice all year.
Yeah, and I know that's actually common, not common, but more common in a few of the American clubs that have decided to leave their icing year round, just because there's demand for it. People see it like bowling or skating or something, where if you can keep hockey ice in all summer, why not keep your curling ice in and just keep running more programming? I know in Canada we like golfing and camping and going to the lake and all that stuff. So if we have the good weather, nobody wants to be on the curling ice. So
Only if it's 90 degrees we maybe want to come.
I think the closest thing that I can think of in Canada is that some clubs will do kind of an end of the year bonspiel, maybe as late as May something. And then in Ontario anyway, 2 clubs put ice in August.
It's a great shot, Ty.
And actually there might be a third in Ottawa, but usually Kitchener-Waterloo, Oakville, and maybe Carleton Place in Ottawa put their ice in sometime in early to mid-August so they can start summer leagues and doing summer camps. And but there's, June, July, there is basically no curling unless it's a kind of a one-off fun bonspiel or maybe a summer camp for kids.
Oh, that's fun.
I know that the Ontario Curling Council and Curl On run one of their junior camps in North Bay for the last few years. It was in Thunder Bay and Sudbury before that, but they do that one usually the beginning of July. That's called the Amethyst Camp, and then the Trillium Camp, which is its sister camp, usually in Kitchener-Waterloo these days. That's in the middle of August. So there is some summer curling, but it's certainly not year-round.
But if there are people that are interested, they go to those websites, they can look it up, and if you've got these little rockers that a lot of clubs have, which kids are starting very young, and they might want to continue.
Yeah, Oakville does a Little Rock summer camp as well, so it's kind of a day camp. And last year, I don't remember how many people they had, but it was a big number. It was very well subscribed, and that was kind of at the same time that the Trillium camp is going on up the road in Kitchener-Waterloo. So I think the idea being that once you kind of age out of the youth camp, then you move on to the teenage camp, and it's a pretty good system. And so you do get a bit of summer curling, but like I said, I don't know any Canadian curlers who want to play year-round. I think everybody kind of looks forward to that off-season to step away from the game, refresh, even if it's just for a month or two. But you can't be all in all the time.
Well, I know that even here, when the nice weather starts to come in March, you have a few beautiful days. It's maybe 20 plus, no snow. You think, oh, let's go outside.
Well, we had a beautiful day earlier this week, and the golf course at St. Catharines was full.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We've had actually beautiful weather all week here. And Dave, who does the ice here, I'm sure he's thrilled because rain is not a friend to curling, is it?
Well, normally a 25-degree day in November is problematic as well, but Dave Palin did a great job with it, and I think the ice got a little bit faster, if anything, and the players really enjoyed it. So, again, as long as we're giving kudos, Dave Palin and Don Powell both taking charge here and doing a great job. So, we've got some rocks in play. These center guards about to be dealt with.
Whoa, you gotta go, Scott.
Brooke Goslin looking for a double, but maybe just getting one.
Okay.
2 Manitoba rocks frozen on the button. And Newfoundland and Labrador looking to find some access.
Sorry.
Easy, you don't want to kill the line. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I think you're close.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Like you're over always. Just bite the line, just bite the line. Yeah, hard. Okay, shot.
I barely made it over the hog line.
What's that?
2/3.
Yeah, I mean, let's try it. Just board. You like that ice? Okay.
Just looking for board weight here, trying to sneak by the center guard and get to the nose of this yellow. They're almost slightly overlapped, so you have to get a bit of curl past the guard.
Close. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Sarah, 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 Sarah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
This looks pretty good.
Really good. Good shot.
Nicely done,
Oh,
called
geez.
and made.
Wow.
Just enough weight to nudge that red through.
He sounded surprised. He went, wow.
I think he felt that back green was going to go easily, and
You know what I mean?
just got there.
Yeah, because we don't want to miss high, right? Like back 4, I was thinking even like there, right? Yeah, like T-line, get low on the yellow, and just nestle in there. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So Manitoba
I'll get it
Ryan Wiebe.
Yeah, he's really nice here.
Manitoba's Ryan Wiebe. A little out-turn draw, tap, trying to lock another green stone right in the pocket on the top of the button.
Whoa, whoa.
If successful, it will be very difficult to remove.
Oh, you can't.
Newfoundland
can't.
might be able to take one, but
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You got lots of
2
room.
or more might be difficult.
Yep, try. Yep.
Trying to carve it over, maybe just a little too much weight, but it's walking over there.
Get in there.
Okay.
It's usable.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
again a little good news, bad news. It's
Through the right weight,
not
but
terrible, but it's not great.
Too much.
You may have
14-2.
given an opportunity for Newfoundland to make a play on it, but he's going to
I'm
run
thinking. Yeah.
I like that.
All right.
running the yellow back. Would probably be happy taking either of those greens, but in a perfect world, get both.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Just that's just off edge. So yeah.
I think this should be okay with the 10-5.
Okay.
You have to really buy into the shot you're doing.
Yeah, and I think there hasn't been much doubt when Trent Skanes gets in the hack what he wants to do. We saw that one in the last end where he wasn't quite sure where to put the broom or how much weight to throw, and didn't quite get the result as a result. But most of the time, he's very convinced when he puts the broom down what he expects to happen, and I think this is something he's very happy to be throwing now. He likes it. He wants to make it.
Yeah.
Just run this yellow straight back into the pile.
Yeah!
But it's already curling on him, though.
Yes!
Ooh.
Just missed by an inch. You could tell that just the
So
sweep
close.
call right out of his hand. He just pinched it, and
Feel
I
like
actually
Ted
thought he
had
was going to be
lost.
on the guard, but they just snuck it by. And now there's a nice little wall there that if Ryan Wiebe can put one in the right spot, it will be very difficult for
Ryan.
Newfoundland to score.
I think higher's like fine.
But I'm just saying, like, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, right here's fine. Yeah, misses wide, right? Like, yeah.
Oof, we have a score of 5 for Nova Scotia
Yeah, just
in the
like
PEI Nova Scotia game, and not surprisingly, that leads to some handshakes with an 11-3 final. That will move Nova Scotia to 7-1, and PEI will move to 3-5. So there, you can safely say PEI is out of it, and Nova Scotia right there in the
Play
mix.
it quiet.
That was a definite
But I can play it.
11 to 3. I think they're sending a message. What do you think?
I think when you're down 6-3 playing the 7th end, you take some chances, and you know full well that they might blow up in your face, and I have to imagine that's what happened. I didn't see the Didn't see the end develop, but usually when the team scores a 5, it's because the other team wasn't throwing any hits. They are trying to throw freezes and taps that maybe just didn't quite work out. You leave too many of the opposition stones around, and
out there, right?
a big end can come back and haunt you. But
hopefully that just pops off.
And then hopefully
I think
they'll
that was
do-
PEI
hopefully
going
that
all
one
out,
goes
knowing
further
that,
than that
this
one.
is a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
So big win for Nova Scotia. That puts them solo in second place for now. Until we'll see how this game ends. Manitoba can catch them with a win.
You never know. It could spring off. It's
And
for one
if
for sure.
the
If we hit it.
neighboring sheet ends the way that game's going, Saskatchewan could be pulled back. So we could have a logjam at the top. 7-1 could be a 3-way tie in a few minutes.
Let's go look at it. We got time. I don't
And
know
we
what you're
have
talking about,
another
so-
final.
Oh, yeah.
BC
This one's-
over
this one's
Quebec,
for
so
one
that will
lead.
bring
As
Quebec
long
back
as
to
it's in, it's
5-3, which means if Alberta can
No,
pull off this
what
win,
that
it gives
green
them
is,
some hope to
yes.
sneak into that top
Yeah. It's
4.
there.
So nothing
I'm
is
just saying
decided yet.
It's a lot harder than this. Like, this is thin slash. If you thin it at all, you're scoring 1, right? Like, because that one's just rolling to the button.
Is this the Thursday surprise?
Like, that's tied is very good. Like at this point, and like if you look
Well,
at it,
all
I
of
think
these
we might
teams
be
won
able to
enough
score
games
2.
to make it into the championship pool, so you know that they all have the ability to win some. And if I was a betting man, which I am, but not on this, I would have picked a few of these wrong. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised. I'm a bit surprised.
I like this. I like this. You like this shot? I like this. Yeah. Picked up a couple pieces of dirt on the way there.
Big shot here coming for Trent Skanes, trying to just pick the green kind of across the top into the other green.
Shade more. No, harder than that. We need to spring the green.
He's not giving himself much ice here either.
No, so you heard him just say he's trying to spring it. So he's going to throw this hard, try to get the green spinning, so it might kick a little farther. Big weight.
Yep. Whoa. Yep.
Hitting a good chunk of it.
Spin.
Oh, wow.
Good
what
shot.
a shot. That's what you're talking about when you spring the green. He got that spinning and carried a little extra momentum sideways. That was a fantastic shot
That was
for
a
2.
great shot.
I don't think Manitoba thought that was there, but sure enough, 2 on the board for Newfoundland. Manitoba will have the hammer coming home. We still have a lot of game left to play.
Pistol. Good shot.
So maybe that heavy dinner did something for him after all.
Yeah, that
It's finally working its way through.
protein there
The
for the extra muscle.
Guard anywhere except perfect, then it's
I don't know
not
what he had for
gonna
dinner,
be
but I assume it was a steak if he's going to the keg.
10. Well, yes, 10 now. Yeah.
So what would your strategy
Should
be
be
in this
close.
8th end for Manitoba?
Line's good.
I think you obviously want to take your 2, but you don't want to go crazy. You don't want to get so many rocks in play. You don't want to get very aggressive, because once you do that, one good shot from Newfoundland can turn into a steal really quick. So you go for the conservative 2 if there is such a thing. Try to keep your rocks around, but try to keep the front of the house open, so you're always going to at least have an easy shot for 1. And if I'm Newfoundland, I'm
Early for line.
basically playing for the steal, because
Line's good. Take a look.
Halfway,
Line's
one.
good. Weight looks okay, guys.
it's
Halfway.
you're going to try to create a situation
Room
where
down.
your rocks are difficult to remove.
Halfway. Line's good.
And
Line's good.
just keep an eye out for those problem rocks,
Great
which
shot. Nice.
Really nice
can
guard.
hurt later on. So only one guard for Newfoundland. They're not going to throw that second one. Not going all out steal.
Let's try a 4-0, like not that much different.
Sarah McNeil Lambswood threw a good guard on her first, playing for the come
It
around.
looked like it was turned in. Yeah.
3-2.
Yeah.
Yes, then, yes.
What? Wait, what did you say?
3, 4.
Yeah, go. Just keep going. Keep going. It looks good. It looks good. Yeah,
3-4
keep going.
usually means
15
a
seconds.
tight guard to just biting the 12. They're definitely into the 12. That's a 4. That's a 5.
We're good.
That's a 6. So
Good shot.
Nice rock.
great shot and great result. They just misjudged the weight a little bit, but I think they're pleasantly surprised where it ended up.
And believe it or not, they're using their corner guard.
Yeah, and I
Line's
applaud
good.
it.
Maybe a little
Don't
tight.
throw it if you're not going to use it, and this is a case
Line's
where you
good.
almost have to use it.
Whoa. Whoa.
T. Top 4.
Doesn't need to curl. Doesn't need to curl.
T.
Whoa. Maybe just a little curl. 15-6. Yeah. Doesn't need to curl.
Good.
Great shot.
Really nicely done. Looks almost totally buried there. Difficult to get at.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So this is where that 5 rock free guard zone really starts to complicate things. They don't necessarily,
Make it 2.
they can't peel the green guard. They don't really want to complicate things too much, but this is the kind of rock where you got to put it somewhere. They've opted to throw another guard.
Little bit turned in.
2, 1.
Lights. Easy.
These are the hardest, one of the hardest
clean it,
in
bro.
curling to throw, isn't
Just
it?
clean it.
A 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's good.
Especially on
Managing the
fast
line.
ice, which
good.
I would
It's fine.
categorize this as pretty quick. But yeah, that trying to just get it a foot or 2 over the hog line when you feel like you're barely moving out of the hack, and pretty well executed to keep it that high up. But yeah, those can be a little bit scary.
Really?
Yeah.
We don't mean to do that in club play. They just end up there.
Yeah. And we saw a couple of those earlier too, where they're going for tighter guards and both teams threw it just over the line.
No. Shoot. Good.
Now you'll see Newfoundland make the peel.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the shooter around to act as a guard on that 4-foot
That's okay.
rock.
I don't mind that.
Like a 9-5.
I like 8-5.
Straight up.
This is kind of semi-aggressive. You want to leave that guard up, but there is a risk that if you ever roll to the other side, to the other corner, it's, oh, they're trying to get a piece.
No. Thanks.
That is a
Okay,
bad
Scott.
break.
It's fine.
Got the guard out of the way, but lost their helper yellow and certainly didn't get the guard they wanted.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, bud.
It's almost like they needed a tick shot.
Well, they threw a lot of weight for the call, but I think that was out of caution, and I think it backfired a little bit there. They were
line's not
trying to
bad.
be responsible, saying if we don't hit
Oh,
it exactly
there.
where we
Well
want
then.
to, we're going to roll all the way in.
Right.
It's got to sit
But
for line.
by throwing it a little bit harder, didn't
No.
get the curl they
Yeah, we're
wanted,
right.
and it all kind of blew up a bit. So I think they were trying to be smart, and it unfortunately kind of backfired. And I don't mean that with any disrespect.
No.
I liked
Nice.
the call, but it just didn't quite work for them. It's going Gonna try it again.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we're
in theory, you can make the run back peel on the greens and maybe potentially roll to the middle.
Interesting first call, but I didn't mind the run.
Because that's lined up even nicer than it was the first time.
Yeah, this one's a lot closer to the rings, and so this run back's not even 5 or 6 feet, where the first one would have been 8 or 10, and long enough that they weren't even looking at it. But this is a little pretty juicy.
With the intern.
Yeah.
Okay, like you're coming into it as well, so you want to be throwing an 8.
Playing this one inside out, which
Yeah.
I don't know that I would do.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what turn would you do on this?
Whoa, whoa.
99% of the times, I call all of my hits
Sarah.
outside in.
Yeah, Sarah.
Just because I feel they're more predictable and easier. They're easier to manage. The releases tend to be cleaner, easier to read.
Okay.
But that's not gospel or anything. It's just a personal preference. Especially you see a lot of teams these days who call almost exclusively inside-out hits,
So quick here.
and they're winning more games than I am. So
Something's working.
yeah, you know what? They can make it work. So it doesn't mean that
Okay.
I'm right and they're wrong, or vice versa. It's just that it can be done both ways. But I really tend to stick to the outside in. Sometimes you're forced the other way and you have to do it, but
I like
if
it.
I have the choice, I'm going to play it which I believe is the straighter way.
Mine's good.
So, they missed the run back and left the corner guard up. Manitoba trying to take advantage. Line's really good. We're going to make it past the guard here, trying to finish it over a little bit more. Some late scrubs.
Good sweep.
You can still see maybe a quarter of it, but it's mostly buried.
Great sweep.
And you'll see Trent Skanes here calling for a hit and a big roll to the other side of the house. This is a tough shot. It's similar to the one she just threw, actually. Over curl on this one. That's going to go out the side.
Okay.
Now Manitoba's in business, trying to just create the simplest deuce possible.
What? Freeze tap? Wait, I can't hear you. Like this.
Yeah, did we ever just draw?
Yeah?
Like, is that bad?
Yeah, I'll probably have a double back. If you know it's tap, like, real easy. Want to call it timeout now, or? Like, the thing is,
Did you ever just
nose.
draw to open cross?
I think they're a little
because
confused
nose
at what they really want to do here.
I think they know what they want to do. They just don't know how they want to get there. There's still a lot of rocks to come.
Like, I got 2 shots to make it.
Again, if you were to,
Yeah, I think
you knew you were going to make everyone perfect, you'd hit and roll
How far
away.
Do we want? Like, do we want, like,
And
is this better?
just kind of hope that
what do
they
you do
don't
if
ever
we're
make a
way
perfect
out?
freeze on that
He might ignore it. I feel like if we're here, he might
side rock on the
Well,
tee line.
like, what does he play? Like this?
If you could ever spill them, keep your greens as far away as possible,
Yeah?
it's going to take a
I'm just
really
wondering,
good
like,
shot
you go
from
further up,
Newfoundland
you
not to
roll
give
for
up
the-
2.
the shot harder, but
Sure. Middle 12?
or if you're here, it makes the double easier. Like, you gotta deal with that, right? Yeah. Here makes it hard.
Anywhere, really.
Yeah, let's go here. Yeah, that's fine.
So I think they've settled on throwing the draw to the open side.
Like, yeah, I think so.
I don't mind this. I still think I might be leaning towards the hit and roll, but like I said, there are a lot of rocks left. This is only the Vice's second, so 4 skips rocks to come.
Okay, looks a little
Give it a
big.
push.
Jalen Hayward just looking to put a rock on the tee line
Well, then,
on the
it's gotta work,
open
Clyde.
side.
It's gotta work. Okay, there it goes. It's going.
Line's really moving.
Line's good. Doesn't need to curl. Whoa. Whoa. I think it's fine. Just let it dig. Great shot, Jayla. Nice.
If you can hear a little chaos going on in the lounge behind us, that's because Ends game was just won or lost, depending on which card you held.
Come here.
So Newfoundland Labrador calls their timeout, trying to figure out how not to give up two here.
I just called the timeout. What's she saying?
You can't nose it. You have
You
to
can't
roll
nose it. He just
That
plays
roar
the ball.
also indicated that Alberta has finished the win over Saskatchewan, so that result is official.
You don't. Well, what's your
These
thought?
standings got all mixed up today.
Do you want to draw to it?
Well, I'm just thinking like that's pretty good.
I think they surprised Saskatchewan a little bit.
That takes it away. That might win the game there. Now, if I roll this way, it doesn't matter because he just hits and rolls. He doesn't even need to play it. If I nose it, he's got the double. If I go here, he's got a double.
I did talk to Amber Holland earlier from Saskatchewan, and she said it's not that they were playing fantastic, but they were doing just enough right to win games. And Alberta, like we said, was probably underachieving in a couple of earlier games, but they might be starting to gain some momentum. So I don't know if it was a surprise, but I think it was just one team played a little better than they have been, and the other maybe let it catch up with them when they were probably due for a loss. I don't think they came in here expecting to run the table, and that was the one. So, like I said,
Well, better to get it over tonight.
yeah, I'd rather do it in the round robin games
Absolutely.
than in a semi or a final. They are still right at the top of the pack, so.
So it looks like he's drawing down to that green
Yeah, I think that's the
on the
one
tee
behind
line,
the guard.
yeah.
Yeah. If he can make a good freeze here, it will be
Stay with it.
tough to deal with, but not
Looks
impossible.
huge.
He's probably going to leave
No,
a double
no.
one way or the other, but looks like
Where?
it's a little heavy. This has to curl
Well,
a lot,
back eight
and the weight's
isn't
too
horrible
much.
if it stops.
This is going to go right out the back.
those hurt.
Yeah,
What
that's
I give ya?
unfortunate because
Both high trees, right? But,
I would have liked to see what happened if he made it, how the rest of the end unfolded.
it's easier with the.
Oh, whatever.
No,
Yeah,
we've
we're-
seen this with like board a bunch of times, right? Like, seemed like a heavy board.
This is not quite a make it go away triple, or a double, well, make it go away hit rather. You don't want to,
Just a heavy board.
you do want to stick around.
Yeah.
And ideally in a spot where the freeze
even if
around
you-
that
even if
corner
you
doesn't
nose
help
it,
too
like,
much.
The double, it's going to be wide open.
'Cause if you roll too far, then he makes that freeze and
Heavy board.
you're in a bit of trouble. But if you can stay full 8 foot, or even just roll to the other edge of the 4 foot, it might be good enough.
Sometimes I think nerves play into it too.
Clean?
Little bit.
Oh,
Draw.
absolutely.
Easy.
You kick out that little bit more, and
I think calling the timeout too, just taking that a little extra time to think about it can just kind of mess up with the rhythm that you've been playing all day.
Good.
Well, the hit is made, the roll is not. Although
That's good.
there's a couple options, a thin double, or
I don't think it catches.
I think it does. Maybe.
there's
Unless you can hit that.
there
third.
are doubles available, but they're
I was
not
light.
easy.
I was so scared to send it.
Play it real thin. I mean, just try to dead stick the shooter there, basically.
So
Super thin.
trying to hit the center rock, roll to the one behind the guard. He says dead stick the shooter, so he's got to hit this really thin to go in the side of
really
that
all
green
in the
and not
shooter,
spill
right?
over the top. We're talking about less than a quarter of a rock to make this the way he wants to. And if you're a little bit thicker than that, you might spill out over the top, and that might be good enough for Manitoba to take the win. But let's see, last rock coming from Newfoundland, Labrador, looking for a real skinny double.
Sarah.
Yeah. Got it. Whoa.
Sailing a little bit wide, looking for a piece. And no dice.
That's too bad.
3 on the board for Manitoba, and doesn't even have to throw his last rock. So, talk about the standings. Manitoba moves to 7-1. Now 3 teams tied at the top of the championship pool at a 7-1 record. Newfoundland and Labrador will drop to 3-5, and that'll basically put them out of the championship. So, we will be back tomorrow with 3 more draws of curling, 2 more championship pool draws to come, and then we will get on to semis and finals on Saturday. Thanks for joining us here from St. Catharines. It's been a pleasure. We will see you all tomorrow morning, I suppose. Morning, I don't know. It's all blurring together now.
Thank you, Brian. It was enjoyable.
Thank you, Jane. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Niagara College Vault.
Don't forget your brooms.
You got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.
Niagara College Vault.
Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.
Niagara College Vault.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.